Yeah, it's your boy Chili here. Welcome back to Pantrio, where we build a interactive web application for my mom. Your mom gay. Okay. And we're off to a rollicking start here. So, what's next? Well, we have Composer installed. We want to install Laravel. So let's take a look at how that's done. How to install Laravel. Installation. There's a few ways you can globally install the Laravel package. Well, now they made it fancy. Now it's a Laravel installer. It's separate. So you could globally require that and then run the command, but that's not what I do. I just use create project. So copy paste. What's this 4.2 shit? Why do they keep changing stuff? I bet it's because this is not good. So when I said that they have installer now, what I meant to say was they had an installer before and it was sucked. So they got rid of it. Getting started on Linux. What are you? Docker? No, dude. What's this bullshit? Yeah. Give me the good stuff. Composer, create project, Laravel. There we go. That's what I'm used to. This is what I am, So I like to move it. var www HTML. So we're going to install it in here. We're going to copy pasta. It's not going to be called example app. It's going to be called Pantrio. Good. So this should work. What this is going to do is reflection parameter deprecated. That's weird. Why am I getting... Wait. You're using an outdated version of Composer. Composer 2.0 is now available and you should upgrade. Well, dude, I'm going to do it. Then get me out of this. Because Composer... but now I have to figure out how to upgrade Composer. It's easy, but I just don't remember the command. It's like a self-upgrading command for it. Okay, ls. Yeah. No, it's not. They didn't even create the folder yet. That's fine, right? LL? Yeah, they didn't create Jack or Shart. And Shart, he's gone now. How to upgrade Composer. Upgrade Composer as well. Run the self-update command. Okay. Composer self-update. I could have put this. I should put this in the Ansible. That's not defined. Okay. Okay. Not defined. That's cool. Self-update. Where is it? That doesn't help me. Create the Composer 2.0. Yeah. What? Self-update is not defined. Composer exists, right? I didn't destroy it somehow by canceling out of that command. Composer. Oh! Fatal error. So this is probably because my version of Composer is old. And I put in the newest version of PHP. Yeah, Composer 1.6 to 2018. Why is this being installed? So self-update is not defined. So either there's two reasons why this might be the case. Let's try running that command we ran before. Composer create project. Okay, that still works. I was just making sure that my Control-C didn't somehow break something. So that's not it. Now, Composer by itself not working. For some part of Composer that it runs when you run it without giving it, an actual command. Some part of that triggers some stuff, and that stuff is not compatible with PHP 8 because this is an old-ass version of Composer. Fair enough. Apparently, perhaps this old-ass version of Composer also doesn't support self-update. Well, for some reason, perhaps because of the version of PHP that we're running, self-update is now not working. That's annoying. Why does it get such an old butt version of Composer to begin with? You know what I mean? That's the question that I want to know. The answer to. So where do we install Composer? So it's just installed from apt. All right, so that makes sense because we're running an old butt version of Ubuntu. Perhaps that's why it's getting the old butt version of Composer. Now, let's try the old fallback. We're gonna go command self-update is not defined Composer. Beautiful. This is beautiful. So, apparently, the solution is don't use apt to install Composer. No one ever explains, at least as I'm skimming here, no one explains why apt doesn't give you a good version of Composer, but that's what you get. Now, here's the interesting thing. Okay, so you uninstall with the package manager, then you install by basically just manually downloading it and installing it. All right. I mean, we can do that. We could even put that into our Ansible script, although it might be annoying trying to make that item potent. Now, here's a fun thing. If you have Ubuntu 18.04, you may find some problems with the official documentation installation method. Oh, that's fun, because I believe that is the version of Ubuntu that we have. And the reason why we don't have Ubuntu 20 is because the Vagrant auto install of Ansible doesn't support 20 yet, even though it's been out for quite a while. It's very annoying. I am vexed. So let's see what this problem is. So remember when I was hesitant about going to PHP 7 or 8.0? There you go. Now you know the reason, right? How to install Composer with Ansible. Okay, so apparently what we're going to do is we are going to, well, I guess we're going to have to install this, Ansible Galaxy, install this in our initial script. Then in our main script, we are going to add this role. And that should install Composer for us painlessly. It'll be oh so painless. Oh, I'm getting choked up here. Okay, so we get rid of this and prep Composer bullshit. Good. All right. Now, install Gearling guy.composer. Like that. And yeah, so this is good. Probably. Then in main, hosts all. Okay, so I'm going to run this role. And we can configure this role by setting variables. I feel like we probably don't need to set any of this stuff, but we might need to set like this one. No, there's only one way to find out. Just run it. Just run the goddamn thing. So I will probably need to destroy my, I probably don't need to destroy my current server, but just to be safe, I'm going to do it anyways. So I'll be back when this is all working. Or when I hit a wall. All right, so you know that whole plan we had to install Composer via the Gearling guy Galaxy role? Well, you won't believe this. Turns out it doesn't work. Kind of gives me a big fat old error. So, well, you know, when you want to get something done properly, you got to do it yourself. So, what have I wrought? Well, basically, manually, we're just going to install Composer. And the way we're doing that is, you know, we got this Ansible command here, get URL, and it is going to use curl to download from this website to a file composer installer.php. then it is going to execute that PHP file. That will give us a file called composer.far, and we want to copy that into our binaries so that we can use the command, and then Bob's your uncle. You know what I'm saying? Bob is your uncle. And I added a couple little things to make it sexy, because we don't want to run this, we don't want to download this file every time we run the provisioner. If it's already installed, we don't want to install it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a command called stat that gets the status of a file, and we're going to stat the composer binary in here. And only if it doesn't exist, if exists is equal to false, then we download and we install and we copy. If it already exists, we skip this, we skip this, we skip this. And no matter what, in the end, we make sure that the intermediate files don't exist anymore. So we assert that the state is absent. If these files exist, they will be removed. If they don't exist, this will just be skipped. It'll just say okay. And so I ran this, and it appears to work. So yeah, here's what the whole Ansible thing works here. Check if Composer is installed. Okay, then get Composer changed, so it downloaded. It ran the installation program. It copied to the binaries path, and then it deleted the intermediates. Now, if we run this again, so I go vagrante provision. If we do this, it should run the Ansible provisioning again, and it will not download. It will say skipping for the downloading and for the running of the installation and the hoo-ha and the whatnot. So that's good. That's what we wanted, right? Let's just make sure. Yep, PHP. Yeah. So here we go. Skipping, skipping, skipping. Okay, okay. Yeah, because it doesn't say changed because these files were never created. So when we do file absent, it just says, yep, it's absent. Good. Nothing to do here. And this is all okay. And it's all beautiful. And there you go. Everything is amazing. So with this, we should be able to do vagrant SSH. We should be able to run composer command, and it should, let's see, composer. It should tell us it is version 2 point whatever. Yeah, 2.0.9. Beautiful. All right, so what was the goal? What was the whole thing we were trying to do here? Well, if memory serves me correctly, we were trying to create our project. So let's copy this, and let's see if we can finally get this garbage working now. So cd var www.html. We have the default Nginx file. I'll probably put it in the Ansible to remove this at some point, but for now, whatevs. So we pasta, and we what's the name of the file? Pantrio. Okay, do the thing. Okay, so apparently it wants us to install unzip, but even if it's not installed, it should be fine. All right, and we are installing all of the things now. These are all of the dependencies that Laravel requires be installed. Lots of PHP things and other things. So these will run through, and they have apparently been done. It is now generating the auto load file, and good. So Laravel has been installed, and Nginx is already running, and so if the stars are aligned, we should be able to go to Pantrio and see 403 forbidden. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We wanted to see 403 forbidden. Okay, so usually this is a problem, I think, with permissions. The web server, this Nginx service, doesn't have the correct permissions to access the folder that it was told to access. Except, here's the thing. So we cd to Pantrio. So if you look at this here, because this is being shared with NFS, the permissions are all set to 777. They just have to be when you're sharing, I guess, into Windows. I don't know about other file systems or other thingies, but when you're doing this kind of file sharing, you're going to see 777 on everything in the synchronized folders, which means it cannot be a permissions thing. So what do? Well, we can check to see if there are other problems with our boy here. So there is a file robots.txt, and maybe I'll explain this a little bit later, but basically, let me just go over quickly. And shared Pantrio. So you've got this public folder. This is the folder that Nginx is being pointed to as the root folder. So it's going to access things in here. And normally what it does is it executes index, which is the entry point into our Laravel application. And that is what is going to determine the routing of the various URLs, URIs, whatever you want to call it. But if the way that the Nginx configuration file is set up, let me just show you here. If I can bring it up here. It first looks to see if that URI actually exists, or if the directory exists. And then if not, it will pass everything on into index.php to be routed in our Laravel application. So if the file exists in here, we should be able to access it. Like, for example, robots.txt. So if I go robots.txt, you can see here that we are accessing it. So our Nginx is working. It can serve static files, but something is wrong when we access when it gets into the PHP, when it tries to access Laravel. So one thing we could try is, well, instead of using this URL rewriting functionality, what if we try to access index.php directly? So here is interesting. We get a different error, 502 bad gateway. So, I explained this in the previous video, Nginx and chill, but Nginx is acting as a proxy, and it is forwarding requests that meet certain conditions onto PHP FPM, which handles the PHP stuff. So this indicates to me maybe that there's problems with it handing off to FPM. So we can take another look at this file. And what we notice here it is. So I upgraded, on the fly, I'm making this video. I decided, no, we're not going to do 7.4. We're going to go with the new hotness, PHP 8.0. But I neglected to, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a problem. We should update this. I could run the provisioner again, and I think it would copy the new file. I think it will update this file. But instead of doing that, what I will do instead is I'll just go cd etc nginx, and then we'll go cd sites available, and we'll go sudo nano pantrio, and we'll go into here, and we will rename this one to PHP 8.0. Exit, sudo service nginx restart. There we go. So now, if we access index.php, we should be able to see the goodness here. And there you go. We have the Laravel, the basic page that you get when you install Laravel with our PHP 8.0.1 and Laravel 8.25.0. Okay. And if we access it, just via the root of the thing here, we'll get, well, that's unfortunate. So, what the friggle? Just make sure robots still works. Where is it? Robots.txt. Okay, so this one works, and it works if we directly go to the URL, but it doesn't work if we go to this. So if we just do it with the directory, then it's going to look for the index file in that directory, right? If you access just not a file, but a directory, it looks for the index of that directory. But we haven't specified what indexes it should look for. So what we maybe need to do here, and I thought this was set by default, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. But apparently, we need to babysit it a little bit. Why are the tabs all fricked up on this freaking... There we go. Okay, so index. So we want to search for index. First, if there's an HTML file, use that. If not, then try to look for HTML. And if not, then look for finally PHP, which is what you normally want to find. Okay, so now this allows us to have static index HTML files if we want for certain paths, for certain URIs. But the final thing it'll look for is index.php, which should route into this. This indentation is bad. Okay, save that. Okay, now I want to test out to see if I run the provisioning again, if it'll actually work, if it'll actually copy that file over again. So we're going to run vagrant provision, a little test to see if we can use Ansible to update the configuration, not just to copy it originally. So it's going to, make sure community.general is installed for Ansible, community.mysql. It says changed, which is dumb. So maybe it installs it every single freaking time. All right, well, it doesn't matter. Not that bad. Okay, so where is it? Create symbolic copy. It says changed. So it does check to see if this file changes. And if it does, it copies the new one over. And it restarted Ansible for us. So if we go to this root, we now see Laravel. We now have our application installed, ready to make things. And just for sharts and gaggles, we can go into resources, views, we can go to the welcome page, and I think this is probably the Laravel thing, the logo. It's an SVG, vector graphics. So we'll just do H1, butts. And if I save this, and if I go here, and if I refresh, butts. So there you go. We now have Laravel installed with Composer, and we are ready to move on to the next phase of our plans for world domination. But I think I'll leave that for another video. Cut this one off right here. Thanks for watching. Blah, blah, blah. See you next time.